Just curious as far as what your best takeaway or number one thing you learned at the Curbside conference.
I mean, gosh, I filled up a notebook with notes that really, there were so many good ideas. One of the things is really upping my presentation game on the wash and fold. So the folding and the packaging, we hadn't been using a vacuum to suck out the air, and that was the first time I'd heard that at the conference. And I was like, oh, that's great. So we've been doing that, and it's been great. Like, all the packaging gets tight and it looks awesome. So that was one small thing. How important the Google reviews are, and we've been focused on getting them. But you had that one speaker who has 1,200 reviews.
Oh, right. Carlos Ochoa, Laundromat Money on TikTok.
I didn't even think that was possible. The number of reviews, obviously you want it to be a 5.0, but if you have one review and it's 5.0, it doesn't mean as much than if you have 1,200. And that also ramps up your SEO. You get seen more. So we've been really focused on that. And I gave every store, I made little cards with a QR code, and I just said, here, hand these to customers, ask them for reviews. So we've been getting a lot more reviews through that. So,
and you've got 3 stores to collect reviews from too, so that's huge.
Yeah. And I'm incentivizing them. Carlos was talking about, how he gives a certain amount per month if you get X amount of reviews. So I've been incentivizing the staff to do that with prizes and that sort of thing.
Yeah, neat part too about those incentives. One, it creates happy employees, so they're happy. They got a little something extra. And then 2, those reviews are permanent. The person may move on, to another opportunity in the future. I mean, who knows? But you still have that review, so those just last in perpetuity.
They're like royalty.
Exactly, yeah. Things are getting more and more competitive with search ranking, and people are getting more sophisticated. And one way that Google ranks your website better is not just having a really good website, but Google wants to know if it could trust you, if it feels confident referring your business to new people. And if you've got those reviews, then Google's more likely to recommend you versus somebody else.
I think you talked about this with someone else too, but what I found is that really focus on Google, because the Yelp reviews, they just delete them. Yelp just has an algorithm that just takes them right out. So it doesn't matter. If you get good ones, they're just gone.
Yeah, I noticed that too. And so I just cut them off. I know a lot of people use Yelp. We get 75 unique visitors to our website just from Yelp, just by having a Yelp profile. But I'm never going to send people to Yelp to leave a review for exactly what you said. They just delete them. I don't get it.
I call them on the phone, and they said it's an algorithm. It just does it by itself. But it's like, and they're legitimate reviews, like from real customers. And they're in the don't recommend zone. I've got like 100 really good reviews that are just, you can't even see them. It's like,
from what I heard is Yelp will only let the review stay if they found the business originally on Yelp. So if they didn't do a Yelp search to find you and you just say, go leave a review on Yelp, there's a high propensity that review will get deleted. Google works, and I have a feeling Google trusts Google more than it does Yelp. So if you have a lot of Google reviews, you're golden. You've been very involved in the community. So you've got the Valentine's Day events, you got Halloween, you had a hot dog eating contest. Yeah, I was just curious what the mindset was behind that, because it's the complete opposite of the zombie laundromat. You guys are like entrenched in the community.
We started at the original store, and we were doing a raffle every holiday or something. And that was great because it got people out and got people excited. Then we did it at the second store, raffles, and it was really good. When we got to the third store, I have to say I have a manager at the third store named Pam who's amazing, and she has spearheaded all of these activities. She really got into it. And so she's the one who came up with the hot dog eating contest. She's the one that did the Valentine's Bake Off. She organized these things. I joined the Chamber of Commerce also for each of the little cities that the laundromat's in, because we're in 3 separate cities within LA. So I'm a member of the chamber, and then so I can use the chamber to advertise and get people to come out for those events. But then it's really about having her communicate and all the staff members communicate, hey, we're having this thing, we put up a banner, the hot dog eating contest is in 2 weeks. We have it, it's fun, we videotape it, and then I have TVs, in the store, and I put up all the pictures and all the videos from those events. So then the customers can see themselves up there, and it really makes it much more part of the community.
I think people, more than ever, really appreciate businesses that give back.
It was at the conference. It was, don't show pictures of your machines, right, in your advertising. Like, don't show pictures of washers. It's the people, right? It's the community. That's what people want to see when they look at the marketing. So it all kind of feeds into itself.
Yeah, it's all about the people. You've been a client of ours for a number of years, and just curious as far as why you chose curbside, right from the get-go.
To be honest, I needed a system. My manager turned me on to curbside. I didn't know anything about any of the system, and he turned me on to it. I checked out the website. Usually for me, if I find something I like and I like the people, I just go for it. And so I didn't like nickel and dime, and I wouldn't like, oh, let's compare you with a million other people. I liked you guys a lot. I got you on the phone. We talked. You just seemed like you were really present and really into what you were doing and passionate about it. I like that you had your own laundromat and you were creating the software for yourselves. And so I just said, let's do it. Let's try it. And it's been great.
Curious as far as like what got you into pickup and delivery?
I just wanted to try it and see if I could get another revenue stream, right, coming in, something else. And it just seemed like it made sense. I started off just myself, and then I just drove around and did it myself. And I was just trying it out, and it was starting to work. Then I hired a guy, and he used his car, and I paid him, by the mile to drive around and do it. So that's where curbside came in.
And you've definitely scaled and grown things multiple locations as well. What would you say to somebody who's thinking about getting into pickup and delivery?
I think there's no harm in starting it at all. I wouldn't suggest buying a van and wrapping it and all that to start with, just because it's a huge expense. I would say just start small and put it out there and start getting a few customers and get the rhythm of it and pay someone or do the driving yourself. Because at the beginning it's small. You're not going to get that many. And then as it grows, just like the rest of your business, you can just add to it. But I think there's such a huge market for it. I mean, we're in LA, and so the market's huge. My issue is just competing with Ren's and Happy Nest and these national companies.
National companies do have an advantage over, the single store locations. Google likes to recommend Home Depot over the local tool place just because it's national. They recommend Starbucks over the local coffee shop. We just have to be more industrious. They're taking different search rankings, and it's all the more reason where there's always something to do on the SEO and your web presence, and that's something that we're happy to help our clients out with as well. We've got a client success agent who's reaching out to new customers at 30 days and 90 days, and it's a different nut to crack for each of our clients. It's not just the website. The website's a big part of it, but in some cases it's building awareness. In your case, it's like competing against these national brands. For other places, people already know pickup and delivery is a thing, and they're just trying to jockey for rank. And then you've got different opportunities where, hey, you know what? I can't dominate for wash and fold because everybody's going after that. But I've got some opportunities for some other keywords that could get me a lot of business. There's all these things to do, and that's where, I'm glad you're with Curbside, because we could take a look at your situation. We could say, hey, because we're in the exact same boat, and like, how do you rank well for this, or how do you get those commercial clients? What type of garments are they laundering, those type of things, and helping create that mousetrap to get you new clients. You're always getting new commercial clients. I saw the summer camps where you just had, truckloads of clothes, and so you're out there like getting these new customers.
So I read this book, the 80-20 on sales and marketing. And of course, the premise of 80-20 is that 20% of your effort leads to 80% of the results in anything. So I thought, I'm going to really take a look at my income and gross and see where it's all coming from. Like 60% of everything we made in pickup and delivery was coming from like 4 or 5 commercial clients. It just made me realize, wow, they're so important, because the residential is great, but it's like 4 clients were accounting for so much. It just made me focus even harder on it. So that's why I've been going after the specific industries. The camp actually was an incoming call like 3 or 4 years ago. That's the other thing too, is, I have an answering service.
So incoming call, that's from your website. I don't think they're opening up the yellow pages.
No. That was an income call for the website. I don't think I answered. I think I called them back. Any of those calls, I call back immediately. And I have an 800 number now I'm using Reception HQ. They're answering the phone 24/7. It comes straight to my phone. And if it's anything looking for a service, I answer and talk to them, because you want to grab those incoming calls. And that's where that came from. And then they've been a client for 4 years. Then every summer we do at least 3 pickups for the entire camp. It's like
that's a lot of clothes.
It's like 100 people's clothes, 3 times the summers.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
And answering the phone, that's so important, because those commercial clients, if they just send an email or leave a voicemail, they're not going to put down the phone for a day and come back at it next week. They're immediately calling up the next place. Right. So, the one who's on it gets it.
If anything comes in through the website, the contact us, anything that comes in with any kind of commercial or even residential, any wash and fold question or any pick and delivery question, I'm on it, because it's just money in the bank,
And I see a lot of sophisticated places like yours going more into commercial. I think that's a growing opportunity, and we're getting more sophisticated, better to convert those opportunities into deals. Because we were looking at our numbers, and we found out that 30% of all of our stops was only generating 10% of our revenue. We could have just stopped 30%. We could just say we're cutting 30 stops a day from our route, and we're still going to make 90% of our gross revenue because they were close to the order minimum. So we increased our order minimum, and it just goes to show you, it's exactly what you're saying about, like, where's the money coming from? It's not the guys ordering a little, it's from the people who are ordering a lot. Thank you for being on the podcast. I mean, I've learned a lot from you, reaching out to people on Instagram, managing multiple locations, community involvement. You've really helped elevate the industry. So, thank you for choosing Curbside and coming to the conference. Yeah, we're fortunate to have you in our industry.
Well, thank you, Matt. I appreciate it. Thanks for having me on. And I just finished a pilot, a TV pilot, actually. I've been working on it for the last year and a half. So I'm excited about that. And I am starting now a pilot about the laundry business.
That is fantastic. Our developers are going to love to watch that.
Writing a show about a laundromat. I'm like, why not? I mean, it's like, I'm living it.
That is great. Once that airs, let me know because I'd love to promote that. And yeah, I think everybody in our industry will love to watch that.
For sure. They will relate.
Definitely. All right. Well, thanks again.
All right. Thank you, Matt. I really appreciate it.
To learn more about the wash and fold and laundry pickup and delivery solution, the same one that Hank Nelken is using at 3 locations and is successfully growing his businesses, go to curbsidelaundries.com.